HTML multimedia. Multimedia on the web is sound, music, videos, movies, and animations. So what is multimedia? Multimedia comes in many different formats. It can be almost anything you can hear or see, like images, music, sound, videos, records, films, animations, and more. Web pages often contain multimedia elements of different types and formats. I have here an example in HTML. This is the example that we are gonna see, not in this video but in the following video. So I have this piece of code here. I have my body element inside of that. I'm gonna have a video element, and I'm gonna have a source element inside of that, and we're gonna have this file movie.mp4, and this is the file that I'm gonna have here. So I'm gonna press Alt+L+O, so open it, and this is the video that we are gonna be seeing. And again, I grab it from W3 school, so this is fair use for educational purposes. But in this case, we're just gonna be focusing on the text right now. So browser support. The first web browsers had support for text only, limited to a single font and a single color. Later came browsers with support for colors, fonts, images, and multimedia. Multimedia formats. Multimedia elements like audio and video are stored in media files. The most common way to discover the type of a file is to look at the file extension. Multimedia files have formats in different extensions like .wav or just .wav, we have .mp3, .mp4, .mpg, .wmv, and finally here in this example is the .avi. And the example that we saw in the Visual Studio Code, we have the movie.mp4, so mp4 is the extension. And here we have common video formats. There are many video formats out there. The mp4, WebM, and OWG formats are supported by HTML. The mp4 format is recommended by YouTube. So here we're gonna see three columns. The first column is gonna be the format, the second column is gonna be file, and the third column is gonna be description. So in the first column we have the MPEG format, and the file is gonna be .mpg or .mpeg or .mpeg, as you prefer it. The description: MPEG, developed by the Moving Pictures Expert Group, the first popular video format on the web, not supported anymore in HTML. We're gonna have the AVI, that is gonna be the file .avi, the description: AVI, audio video interleave, developed by Microsoft, commonly used in video cameras and TV hardware, plays well in Windows computers but not in web browsers. Now we're gonna see the WMV, and the file extension is gonna be .wmv. WMV Windows Media Video, developed by Microsoft, commonly used in video cameras and TV hardware, plays well on Windows computers but not in web browsers. We're gonna have the QuickTime, that is gonna be the .map. QuickTime, developed by Apple, commonly used in video cameras and TV hardware, plays well on Apple computers but not in web browsers. We're gonna have Real Video, that is the extension is gonna be .rm or .ram, that is gonna be .ram. Real Video, developed by Real Media to allow video streaming with low bandwidth, does not play in web browsers. We're gonna have Flash, that is gonna be .swf or .flv. Flashed, developed by Macromedia, often requires an extra component plugin to play in web browsers. Then we have the OWG. The file extension is gonna be .owg. Thera OWG, developed by the CIF.org Foundation, supported by HTML. We're gonna have the WebM, that is gonna be .webm. WebM, developed by Mozilla, Opera, Adobe, and Google, supported by HTML. And finally, we're gonna have the MP4 or just MP4, that MP4 developed by the Moving Pictures Expert Group, commonly used in video cameras and TV hardware, supported by all browsers and recommended by YouTube. So here we have that only MP4, WebM, and OWG videos are supported by the HTML standard. So now we're gonna see some common audio formats. MP3 is the best format for compressed recorded music. The term MP3 has become synonymous with digital music. And your website, if your website is about recorded music, MP3 is the choice. So again, we're gonna have three columns. We're gonna have the format column, the file column, and the description column. So we're gonna see, we have just a few examples. So we have the MIDI. The MIDI format, the file is gonna be that MID or that MIDI. The description MIDI, show for musical instrument digital interface, main format for all electronic music devices like the synthesizers and PC sound cards. MIDI files do not contain sound, but digital notes that can be played by electronics. Plays well on all computers and music hardware, but not in web browsers. Then we're gonna have the real audio for the format. The file is gonna be .rm or .rem. Real audio developed by Real Media to allow streaming of audio with low bandwidth, does not play in web browsers. We're gonna have the WMA. The extension or the file is gonna be .wma. WMA Windows Media Audio developed by Microsoft, plays well on Windows computers but not in web browsers. We're gonna have the AAC. The file is gonna be AAC Advanced Audio Coding, developed by Apple as the default format for iTunes, plays well on Apple computers but not on web browsers. We're gonna see the WAV with the file WAV developed by IBM and Microsoft, plays well on Windows, Macintosh and Linux operating systems, supported by HTML. Then we have the OWG. It's gonna be OWG developed by the CIF or Foundation, supported by HTML. Then we're gonna have the MP3. The file is gonna be the .mp3. MP3 files are actually the sound part of the MPEG files. MP3 is the most popular format for music players, combines good compression, small files with high quality, supported by all browsers. And finally the MP4. MP4 is a video format but can also be used for audio, supported by all browsers.